Welcome back, you guys. You just read the article called Knife Crackdown. So in Australia, there's a famous movie, Crocodile Dundee, and he has this famous line where someone pulls out like a minuscule switchblade, and it's a mugger, and he says like, "That is not a knife, this is a knife," as he takes out this giant blade. And so very comical at the time. However, nowadays, after two high-profile stabbings in New Wales, that's in Sydney, people have been cringing at that line. It was really popular. Many people use it in Australia, at Australians, but it has aged like milk, and a lot of people are not too happy to hear that. In Australia, there are no firearms. You need to have a legitimate reason in order to purchase or own a firearm, but self-defense is not one of them. So maybe they can use it against spiders, but
I guess it's for farming, maybe, like
I think
protecting
so.
livestock.
But you cannot use it against other people. So when people are going to commit crimes, what they will have on hand are knives. Because of that, and because of these stabbings, a lot of the community is, they're up in arms, they're scared, rightly so. So the police have started doing these crackdowns where they have been doing these random checks with this metal wand to check if they have any metal on them, so they can find if they have any knives, secret knives somewhere, to try to, maybe calm the people down and make sure that, like we're doing our best to find these people and make sure that no one has any dangerous weapons on them. However, many people are raising the question that if it's supposed to be done at, there is no specific demographic that is being targeted. It's supposed to be at one's discretion. However, these police will have their own biases, their own prejudices, subconscious as they may be. They might go after some people, and it might seem like they're targeting someone. So no one's sure, how unbiased.
Are you profiling me?
So it makes them think like, well, there needs to be another way to find these people that could be dangerous and disarm them before they do something very dangerous. But it does bring into question like people's civil liberties and what it's doing onto them if the police are coming up to them and saying, "Hey, I'm going to frisk you and I'm just going to check you, and why me?" Right? So it's really interesting how it doesn't guarantee that it will help with preventing these stabbings, but they're doing their best. It's a good thing to, push forward and find new ways to protect the people so it doesn't happen again. With the Crocodile Dundee and that in mind, are there any stereotypes about your country that make you cringe?
I think that maybe, related to the weather, it always rains in England kind of has some truth, kind of isn't true. It's like 50-50. But it doesn't really make me cringe. But there is one that does make me cringe, and it's about British food. So I also, as I have mentioned previously, I've traveled a lot, so I've experienced a lot of foreign food, and I can understand why people who come to England think that British food is really terrible. Especially, I know a lot of countries kind of joke that the British Empire colonized so much of the world looking for spices, and yet we don't use any of them in our cooking. That's the one that makes me cringe the most, I think.
But no, if anything, you guys are benevolent. Like you colonized, and you will let you keep your spices.
Well, I think that's the joke, that we took them and then did nothing with them.
That's so nice of you.
I feel like there's definitely like a fragment of truth in there, but if I think about like the food that I miss when I'm homesick, all of it is super bland, but it's like my childhood. So to me, it's still delicious, even if it is completely flavorless. How about you? Is there something about America that makes you cringe?
I feel like some of the stereotypes that are like, oh, that's true.
I guess stereotypes are there for a reason, maybe.
They do have a stereotype that they were like loud and entitled. So sometimes I'm like, yeah, it's kind of true. But of course it's not they're generalizing and they think that everyone, and so that's why I'm just like, that's not true. There is loud and entitled people in all countries, and usually those are the ones that are traveling. It seems
that's
to be
true, because they're the ones with the money.
So yeah, I'm like, oh no, because then they put me under that. I'm like, I'm really quiet. I don't do that, please.
The only one I can think of is like the oil baron stereotype from Texas.
Yeah, right.
That's always depicted in like cartoons and movies. I think that would probably with the guns shooting.
Well, right, like not even just like USA, but whenever I say like, oh, I'm from Texas, like, do you have a gun and a horse? I'm like, yeehaw! Yes, I do. Get to
Let me just take my cowboy boots off.
my stirrups. What are some famous movie characters from your country that might be considered like the stereotypical, like when you think of like, UK?
So I think that for the UK, thinking about like British men, there's two different stereotypes. One is like the bumbling idiot stereotype, and one is like the perfect gentleman. So on this side, I think Mr. Bean. Like the stereotypical, like goofy, middle-aged British man that probably isn't very good looking. That's the stereotype. And then the other side is Kingsman. I have met so many Koreans that have quoted me, "Manners maketh the man," because they really love that movie. And many people think that like Colin Firth, like that stereotypical British gentleman, like Savile Row,
wearing a nice suit.
Yeah, perfect. Like
they're into books.
Yeah, right. Queen's English. I think that's also the stereotype. So I think many people who travel to the UK thinking that they will meet like Mr. Darcy or Kingsman might be a little bit disappointed when they arrive. Oh, how about you in America?
I wanted to say something about the UK. I always think the M to the B, M to the B. That's what I think, that if I go to the UK,
I feel like that's more common than that's the more common type of person that you would meet rather than the perfect gentleman.
Meet, like, these women with like really dark, like tan.
Oh yeah, like really orange makeup with like thick black full eyelashes. That's also super common. But I think the commonality between the UK and the US is that everything is very regional. So like we have stereotypes from every type of the UK, even though we're not that big of a country. Same for maybe the US. Like there's a Florida man, Texas man, New York man. Like there's a stereotype from all those areas.
So it's like a stereotypical man. If I think like all-American man, I think Captain America, right? Like Captain America, right? So
you wish.
He's the one that I think of, like, oh, he would encompass like the all-American guy, but, without the flaws. And with flaws, actually, I don't know. What would you say is a stereotypical?
I don't know why, but Ben Stiller came to my mind, and like Adam Sandler, like those kind of person.
Yeah, sorry,
I don't know why. That's just where my mind went to.
No, yeah, because even like the clothes that they wear, Adam Sandler, he's always been called out with the basketball shorts. But that's true. A lot of men you do wear that fashion. Even you'll see American guys in Korea, and they'll be wearing clothes like that, and you're like, man, what are you doing?
I feel like you can definitely spot American men in Korea because of their cargo shorts.
Yeah, cargo shorts with basketball shorts.
Yeah, Adam Sandler would be a great representation of that.
Well, good to know. Well, you guys, hope you enjoyed reading that. We hope that you keep using the vocabulary that you learned in this article, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Roughneck.
Roughneck.
Mugger.
Mugger.
Minuscule.
Minuscule.
Civil liberties.
Civil liberties.
Arbitrarily.
Arbitrarily.